The biggest battle we will ever have to face is the battle between you and you. It's the battle of taking your mind to that limit and then breaking through. On the Mindful Experiment podcast, we will share concepts, universal laws, and interviewing individuals who have done just that, who have gone through the dark times and through those moments allowed their light to shine bright. I'm your host, Dr. Vic Manzo, and I want to thank you for listening to the podcast and taking this journey with me as we discover different avenues to break through those limits, expand your reality, and evolve into the person you desire to be. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Dr. Vic, and you are listening to the Mindful Experiment. This week, we are sharing concepts that, things that have come up in calls, coaching, questions, messages that people reached out to and shared. And this is a great way for me just to answer and getting content that I believe is valuable and can help you create more awareness and many different avenues in your life. So this week, we're going to be talking about how to stay in the eye of the hurricane. I shared a post on Facebook a couple weeks ago about the Schumann resonance. And the Schumann resonance, if you don't know what that is, it's basically the vibrational frequency of Earth. The Earth vibrates at a hertz of 9.6. And the thing with that is, that's a normal frequency. It grounds humans. It helps calm us. That's why grounding's so popular. If you get out in the wet, a little bit of a moist area on the ground, you put your bare feet on it, really wonderful. But in the article I shared, it talked about the Schumann resonance being due to solar flares from the sun, having raised the vibration all the way up to 80 something. And it was talking about how this can be creating anxiety and stress and worry, depression, uneasiness, and all these different things because it's taking us off our course of staying in balance. And a lot of people was very akin to the article and kind of even saying how, wow, yeah, this has really been going on. I could feel it. I noticed it and so forth. And one of the things is when people kept coming and saying this to me, I was like, this is, totally understand where you're coming from. But, okay, here's a big but. If you guys know me, I will share things in ways where it may not be the popular response. You can call it political correctness. I don't really think it's that. It's just sharing the unpopular response. And what I mean by that is that when people are coming, they're like, oh, yeah. And people will sometimes, when you do that, and I've been caught doing this too. This is why I'm very aware of it. It's one of those things where you want to blame something else, right? You want to say, this is the reason why I'm here, or this is the reason why I'm there, right? It's a whole blame game. And I think the whole blame game, based on the Bible, all started from Adam and Eve, right? Who did Adam blame because of who ate the apple? And there's the story of blaming someone else. Don't know if that's true. It's just a joke. But one of the things is that we want to put it out away from us so that we don't feel like we're being held responsible, that we have a reason, and I say an excuse, to why we're being or feeling or doing whatever it is that we are. The truth be told, this is not just due to the Schumann resonance changing, but this can happen anytime in your life. When you notice that there's a lot going on, when you notice there's a lot of moving parts, when you notice you're busy, when you notice you've been doing a lot, when you notice that you're on the go, 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 when you notice you can't slow down, when you notice you have worry, fear, anxiety, depression kicking in, when you feel a little off, but you got to keep going, right? We've all been there. When you notice those things, that is a way of knowing that you're not balanced. That is a way of knowing that you're not centered. You're away from your essence. You're away from your peace. You're away from your source, your truth. You're away from being centered and balanced. You're away from connecting from you. connecting with you, I should say. Because if you ever saw a hurricane, and I share this so much in my online classes. You've heard me talk about this in the podcast before. I share this so much. Have you ever seen a hurricane on a satellite on Earth, right? Big moving thing, has a beautiful eye in the middle. That's the hallmark sign. And, it's interesting. And I love sharing this because there's so much truth to this. Nature gives us all the answers we need. The wisdom of all truths to life lies in nature. And if you just become aware, nature can be your greatest source of wisdom. And when you look at a hurricane, know something. This is a beautiful response here. If you were in this, let's say a category 5, massive hurricane, is half the size of the United States. Let's go real big, right? If you're able to put yourself right in the eye of that storm, you wouldn't know there's a storm. It'd be peace and bliss. It'd be a beautiful sunny day, no wind, just really beautiful. Just like your true essence is, peace, bliss, and beauty. But the moment you pull away, the moment you get off-centered, get distracted from your vision, get distracted from your purpose, get distracted from XYZ, life in general, which happens to us all, you start to notice all the things happening in your life. You start to notice all the moving parts. You start to notice how busy you are. You start to notice that you're feeling revved inside. You start to notice you're a little more edgy, a little bit irritated more. You're seeing things from a perspective that's not optimal to you, not your normal self, right? We've all been there, right? Does it sound familiar? And that is a sign of being off balance. And so if you have a Schumann resonance increasing, or if you have Mercury retrograde, or whatever's out there, the only way that you can be affected, the only way, is if you're imbalanced. I'm not saying that these things can happen and you're not going to feel a shift. You will. But what I am saying is it's not going to overtake you. You'll be able to respond and just keep moving forward. You're not going to pay attention to what's wrong and all these different things. Your focus is on what you need to do, and that's it. You may notice it takes a little longer. You may notice you're struggling a little to get into the mode, but you're not going to be like, oh, there's got to be something there. Instead, you're just going to do the work. That's being in the eye of the storm, being connected, being with source, right? When you're in source, you can handle anything. Because let's face it, truth is there will always be moving parts in life. There's always going to be shit to do, shit going on, things in life, curveballs. Man, it's just the way life is, right? But the only way that you can deal with these things and keep moving forward if you stay centered. Because then you have a solid foundation. And when you ever put a house on a solid foundation, you can have a gazillion storms come. It's not going to move it. It's built on a solid foundation. And so a couple things here I want to share with you guys to how can you get into the center of the storm, right? Because, if you talk to me 5 years ago to now, I'll tell you, I used to get way off drift more often than ever because I wasn't as aware as I am now of when I start this process. When I start to tap a little outside the center, when I start to be a little more aware of that process, I start to go, wait a minute, there's something up here. I'm not being as centered. I'm not as, I'm noticing I'm letting little things get to me. I noticed I feel like I'm rushed. I feel like I can't calm. I can't have a peace of mind and so much more. But I've learned to get faster awareness to it. And when I do, I can course correct and get back into the center. My whole purpose of sharing this podcast is to help you because I know you've been there before. And if you need some tools, I'm going to share a couple things that we can do. Now, as always, when I share stuff, I want to be crystal clear. This is not telling you what to do. It's telling you how to do something, right? You have to figure this out for yourself and what works for you. My job is just to share a couple tools and you can take it from there. So one of the big things you can do is meditate. Now, I know you've heard me say this before. I've talked about it many times. I talked about it in my book, if you read it. And I've talked about it in many different podcasts, different mediums of information out there about it. In a couple of weeks, I actually got a chance to interview someone who's the one co-founder of a meditation tool that reads your brainwaves and so forth. And we get into the neuroscience of how powerful meditation is. So watch out for that one. Breath work is another thing you can do, which I've hammered so much on. There's so many different techniques out there. And then in a week and a half from this release of this podcast, I interviewed somebody who actually, we dive into breath work and the power behind it. What does it do to the nervous system and how it can help you get back to being centered? How does it connect you back to you? So those are going to be some great things you could just throwing some little teasers out there. But if you're like, hey, I want something now. I like what you're talking about. This is me. Got something for you, and it's free. Go to empowerreality.com, go to classes, scroll down, you'll see a free week. Register for it. When you register, you're going to get a video each day from me, giving you little tips of what you can do to help stay more centered, how to stay in the eye of the hurricane, how to really help you stay focused. Now, this is not an end all be all. The whole purpose is just to get you exposed to things, and you can start to figure out what you liked, and focusing on how you feel, and then use that and start implementing that into your life. So that way you're always staying as centered as you can. No matter how big a storm comes, you'll be able to stay as centered as much as possible. That's the goal of everything I'm sharing here. So I wanted to keep this one short and sweet, but any questions you have, please shoot me an email at drvic@empowerreality.com. Join our Facebook group. We're really trying to expand this Facebook group out, and it is starting to gain some traction. And, it's a tribe that I share concepts, articles, pictures, things to create inspiration and empowerment. I will soon be launching weekly Facebook Lives in there where we can chat. It'll be at different times of the day, or I'll just make an event on there each week. And people can join me and we can chat up and just connect and so much more. It's really a tribe that I put a little extra energy into it because you joined the tribe. So when I do a post, I share the same post on all my social media outlets, but the wording's different. I spend more time in the writing because I really want to emphasize and be appreciative of you guys being part of the tribe. So that's what I do to take that little extra notch for you. So definitely join us. It's Empowered Living with Dr. Vic, and it's on Facebook. Look forward to connecting. There's a couple questions when you come in, just so I'm tracking and seeing where people are coming from and what some of the visions you may have, and then all the other good stuff. So as always, appreciate you guys listening. Any questions you have, Dr. Vic at empowerreality.com. If you like the podcast, been listening for a little bit, give us a little review on iTunes. It helps us get our word out and helps us get this movement moving forward to help individuals really thrive and live a more empowered life. Until next time, appreciate you guys. And as always, keep rocking and rolling. Thank you for listening to the podcast. For past shows, please visit www.empoweryourreality.com. I hope this show inspired you and added to your life to help you on the journey to rediscover who you really are. To connect with us on Facebook, please visit www.facebook.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. Check us out on Twitter. The handle is Dr. Vic21. Follow us on Instagram, www.instagram.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. If you were inspired by the podcast, pay it forward by sharing it with someone who you know can benefit from it. Thank you again for listening to the Mindful Experiment podcast, sharing paths to help you rediscover your infinite potential.